Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Drinking Wine at 9. My name is Mats, and why are we here? Because we be drinking. Happy early Valentine's Day today. We're all about the red wines from Italy, and I'm joined by a repeat guest today. His name is Ben Stewart with Giuliana Imports. So Ben, welcome back to the table.
Great to be here.
And let's talk about these Valentine red Italian wines.
Yeah, so today we have two wines from two great producers in the Barolo region of Piedmont, Italy. In the past, we actually did a really fun feature, I think one of our previous episodes on the Vajra wines. Today we're also going to include one of their neighbors and another great winery from the region, Mauro Molino. And we're going to be featuring a Barolo, which is the top wine of the region, alongside a really lovely everyday table wine, Barbera d'Alba.
Right. Okay, let's start with number one.
Great. So Mauro Molino is located in the village of La Mora, and that is a commune within Barolo, one of the top wine growing regions in Italy. And it's very common for producers in Barolo to also produce Barbera d'Alba because Barolos do sometimes require some age. Barberas are super fun and easy drinking wines.
Easy drinking.
They work well for blending. And today's, we've got the Molino Barbera. This is a super aromatic.
It is.
Fragrant, dark fruited.
I'm getting a lot of wood violets, some black and white pepper.
Absolutely.
A little bit of stewed cranberry.
Black fruit. It's a black fruited wine, really.
Right.
Not a whole lot of tannin here. It's soft on the tannins.
It really is.
But it's got really lovely pronounced acidity, which makes it refreshing even by itself. Doesn't necessarily require food.
And it's incredibly inexpensive for what you're getting in the glass. Thank you, Miss Sheila, for putting it on sale. And this is gorgeous. It's fragrant. It's not overbearing. It's not overwhelming. It just really represents the price point and what you're getting in the glass. And I have to give kudos to the winemakers. You have Matteo and Martina Mauro Molino. I like to say that. Yeah.
That's their grandfather.
Yeah, I like to
Mauro
say that.
Molino, yeah.
Matteo and Martina, and they do such a good job.
They're doing an amazing job. Now, this Barbera is completely made in stainless steel. There's no oak on it. Keeps it really, really fresh. This wine just came in this morning, like cool off the truck, which is really lovely. And I do think that this wine, maybe not necessarily with a chill, but certainly something that should be consumed slightly below room temperature, makes it really refreshing, even just as an everyday red wine.
Yeah. So we have another Barbera.
Yeah, so now this is back to GD Vajra. GD Vajra is one of the most important growers in the village of Barolo, the commune of Barolo. So we often call the wines from there Barolo di Barolo. And I think that this wine has a lot in common with the Molino Barbera. And if you enjoy the Molino Barbera, definitely a wine worth checking out. But it's definitely a little bit different.
Right.
A little bit more earthiness. The fruit tends to me to be a little bit darker.
It's still rustic, and it still represents what you get in the glass, but I think it's a little bit more linear. It's a little bit more expressive than the first one, and I think that's due to the winemaker, Giuseppe Vajra, who is fantastic, and it really shows because I'm getting Bing cherries and raspberries and stewed plums.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good.
Black fruit galore. I also on this one find a little bit almost more of a sous-bois or like an earthiness, like that sort of forest floor. Not a ton of it, but enough to make it really interesting wine. And even maybe just a little hint of like cocoa powder.
Okay. Now, people often ask me at the store what the difference between Barbera d'Asti and Barbera d'Alba is, and so I'm going to put that question to you for our viewers out there.
It's a great question, and it's one of those sort of questions that a lot of wine folks sort of encounter early on in their journey. What is the difference between Barbera d'Asti and Barbera d'Alba? Barbera d'Asti is a specific region adjacent to Barolo and Barbaresco that is much smaller. Barbera d'Alba can be grown anywhere within the Langhe region. Barbera d'Asti comes from within a much smaller region. It is an area that represents a much smaller amount of production, region.
Right.
It has slightly different soil types, and it results in wines that can be somewhat interchangeably a little bit more powerful, but also a little bit more delicate and elegant. They're also often a little bit more expensive. Barbera d'Asti.
So I often tell people it's location.
Location.
Absolutely.
Barbera d'Alba can be a lot of things, and so what's really important with Barbera d'Alba, and I think also to a certain extent Barbera d'Asti, is producer. Focusing on producers that are extremely high quality, you'll get a great wine, but there's a lot of Barbera out there that might not quite measure up to what is being produced by Mauro Molino or GD Vajra.
Or what's being poured today. So let's talk about the first Barolo.
Let's go.
Barolo, the wine of kings and the king of wines.
As they say.
Yes.
So here we have two wines that are very representative of different areas of Barolo. Mauro Molino is located in the village of La Mora, which is on the left side of the Tanaro River, or the western side. This is known as the softer side. Further south in a higher elevation in the village of Barolo, you have GD Vajra. This is known as a Barolo di Barolo. And while it's still pretty much on the same side, you get more structure there.
And it just took off the enamel from my teeth.
So Nebbiolo grape is the grape that is used for Barolo, and Nebbiolo is known as one of the more tannic grapes, in spite of the color. So it's very common to see Barolos and Barbarescos as well, made from 100% Nebbiolo by law, to be very light in color, and yet these wines have a ton of structure. This makes them very compelling, very age-worthy.
Very big, very expressive, and very food-worthy. You need some food, some chops, some steak, some pasta to go with these, and the Barberas as well. And what I would not recommend with big wines like Barberas and Barolos is to pair this with seafood. Don't do it, because it's going to overpower the seafood, and the structure and the flavor of the wine is going to be terribly lost. So anything but seafood.
One of my favorite pairings is a really beautiful Piemontese tagliatelle with some like maybe a bolognese, a hearty ragu. Think hearty ragus.
Think red sauce.
Roast meats. Steaks are 100%. This is my absolute favorite pairing for steak.
Veal marsala, ossobuco.
Absolutely. Lamb is, one of my favorite things to make around Valentine's Day. I love to cook at home on Valentine's Day because all the restaurants are just totally packed.
Jammed.
Go grab yourself a bottle of Barolo and cook yourself some lamb or a really beautiful big ribeye steak, Delmonico type thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Save a lot of money. Pick your own wine with these fantastic prices, and you'll be just all set. So the last Barolo, DOCG, tell us about it.
So this is the GD Vajra Barolo Albe. Actually, this wine was recently named the #9 wine in the world by Wine Spectator. Not a big deal. Giuseppe. But yeah, so this is their entry-level Tradizione. It's made from a blend of 3 different vineyard sites dedicated specifically to this wine. And Albe means sunrises. So this is, it's Piemontese dialect, and this is all from vineyards which receive the morning sun. And so here you tend to find a wine, by comparison to the Molino, a little bit darker, a little bit more structured, a little bit more of that savory tannin to it, and spice.
It's still earthy, but I do get a lot of cinnamon, I get a lot of sage, I get some black pepper and black walnut.
Absolutely, and almost like this dark berry fruit, almost like a candied blackberry fruit to this kirsch.
Or a candied plum, or some...
Plums for sure.
Yes, some cassis, red currants. It is, I think, softer than the first Barolo, and to me more palatable, but that's up to interpretation. Some people love the tannics, the old world quality, the rusticness of everything, and that's why there's so much out here. So Ben, thank you for introducing myself and our viewers to these wonderful red Italian wines for Valentine's Day, or actually for any occasion. It doesn't have to be holiday specific. So once again, thanks for for joining me back at the table. We hope to see everybody at Argonaut. And ciao once again.
Thanks.